Good evening, everybody. It's Rod with Pow Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Kind of get started here in about half a minute. We'll give it another 30 seconds or so for people to jump on. Well, did anybody see that coming? Is this some kind of sick joke? Snoop Dogg, I quit smoke? I don't know. Let me know in the comments in the live chat or in the comment section if you're viewing this after the fact. But I'm not really buying it right off the, what meets the eye. It's surface level at this point. We don't even know if it's true or not. But curious what everybody thinks. I wanted to come on and interact with the community and give everybody an update on what I think could be happening here. I'll give my thoughts and opinions on it, and something I've kind of, battled with as well. I've been a long-term consumer and smoker, and there's certain aspects to it. Just like anything in life, you gotta kind of have balance, right? But if everybody's joining the live stream, if you could smash the like, I would appreciate it. I see we have quite a few people joining, so welcome. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today's Thursday, November 16th, and the news of the day today that took the MJ industry by storm was icon Snoop Dogg took to social media and said that he's going to be giving up smoke. So, does he mean cigarette smoke? Obviously, he probably doesn't mean that. He probably means everybody's favorite neighborhood plant, and yeah, it's definitely some strange times that we're going through right now in the MJ industry. I don't think it's anything to worry about. I don't think there's anything, there's some stuff there's some Wall Street bets drama that was going on as well, basically saying that they're going to be buying puts on all MJ stocks, which we'll look at here in just a second. But Jamlosi, I thought that was weird. Yeah, it's very strange. We're living in strange times, that's for sure. But I think, who was it? Post Malone also had shared I think he was on Joe Rogan podcast and said that he stopped smoking, that he's giving up smoking as well, or cutting back, or I'm pretty sure he said that he's quitting though, or at least taking a break. And I've kind of gone through that myself as well. Let me know in the comments or in the live chat if that's something that you've contemplated or struggled with. I mean, it's always fun and whatnot, in the moment, but after a while it starts to catch up with you, just like anything, right? It's like alcohol, just like anything. You want to have balance in life. So that's kind of what I live by. My whole life thesis basically is everything in balance, right? You can't get too high, can't get too low, no pun intended, and then you can't get too happy, you can't get too sad. You just gotta kind of try to remain even keel, right? Before we get to all of that and more, though, make sure to smash the like. Like I said, it helps support me in the channel. It doesn't cost you anything. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future videos or whenever I go live. Also, make sure to give us a follow on X, which is previously Twitter, and the handle for that is @GroupPow. Going to be using that as my main platform going forward. So here was the article. There's been no shortage of articles, honestly, but from NBC News, Snoop Dogg says he's giving up smoking after years of MJ use. So the rapper, whose real name is Calvin Broadus, asked fans on social media to respect his privacy without indicating whether or not he's serious. So if you were going, and I see a lot of comments as well, if you were going to give it up, why would you go on social media and make it public and then ask for privacy? It's like you literally shot yourself in the foot. Like you're one of the biggest icons in the world, and you go on there on social media, on X and Instagram, and you say, I'm quitting smoking, and then ask for privacy. It's literally like the opposite of what you should do, in my opinion. You're probably going to be just bombarded with all sorts of questions, right? And criticisms and just overall concerns, right? Like so many people just unsure of what is really going on here. And like you said, we're not even 100% sure if he's serious or not. So we'll dive into the details here. So known MJ enthusiast and rapper Snoop Dogg announced the unthinkable on Thursday. He's giving up smoking. The hip-hop star, whose real name is Calvin Broadus, did not specify what kind of smoke he's quitting, or even if he's serious. After much consideration and conversation with my family, I've decided to give up smoke. Please respect my privacy at this time. He posted on IG and X. So again, we still don't even know if he's 100% sure or truthful in this, or if he's, there's speculation that he could just be giving up smoking, maybe switching to edibles. I've done that as well in the past. I've switched to edibles as a more healthier alternative. Not sure if you can hear my dog in the background or not. I think he stopped. Must have heard somebody at the door or next door in my condo. But yeah, we're not 100% sure if he's serious or not. But there were some replies that were pretty funny, not going to lie. And replies to Snoop's post on X. Some fans met the news with a healthy dose of skepticism. Today isn't April Fool's Day, Snoop, one replier commented. Another person on X responded that he thought Snoop's announcement was a smokescreen and that the rapper was just transitioning to edibles to give his lungs a break. He's moving to edibles, letting his lungs rest up. Eat up, champ. So that could be it, right? Like I've done that. I've gone through that same sort of period of my life where smoking, obviously lighting something on fire and breathing it in is not good for your lungs, regardless if it's cigarettes or, MJ. It's all going to be, in the long term, it's not good for you, right? You shouldn't be lighting anything on fire and smoking it. It's that simple. But obviously, if you're doing edibles and things like that, it's going to be harder on your liver. But at the end of the day, it comes down to balance. And what is Snoop Dogg probably lacking from this scenario? Balance, right? He's probably one of those people who wakes up and has a blunt, a huge blunt for breakfast. So yeah. I mean, what was it? I think it was Post Malone that said he didn't really feel like he was living life. And that's why he wanted to give up smoking MJs, because he felt like life was happening to him and he wasn't actually living life. So let me know in the comments, like I said, if that's something that you felt. Can you resonate with that? I can a little bit, I mean, to a certain extent. But again, these people are icons. They're, super rich, super famous, and, they're probably smoking massive amounts on a daily basis. They're probably drinking, God knows what else they're consuming in terms of other drugs and whatnot. So it definitely takes a toll on you from my experience. If you're over consuming anything, we can abuse cheeseburgers, but that doesn't mean we should just give up cheeseburgers. And it's like people who struggle with addiction and things like that, you want the best for them. But I think a lot of people are in that all or nothing category. Like, I can't do this, or if I do it, I'm going to do it every day, all day, nonstop, all day long, And then there's the other camp where it's like, no, I can't do it at all. If I do it, even if I smoke a little bit, I'll be smoking all day, every day. It's like, well, whatever happened to balance? Why can't we have our cake and eat it too, so to speak? Because, again, it's like you don't have to be all or nothing. Like, I had a friend, hilarious, right? One day, I think it was like on the weekend or something, and it was like after like a night of partying on like a Sunday, he comes home, and on Saturday we ate, just garbage, like McDonald's or something like that. And then later on that night, we had like, bunch of junk food and bags of chips, and he ate like a whole all-dressed bag of chips, like one of the big bags, to himself. And then the next day he comes home with a veggie tray. I'm like, what is going on? He's like, oh, like I've been on a bit of a bender here and not really eating all that well, so I need to turn it around. He comes home with a veggie tray. It's like, you can eat fast food, you can eat junk food. You just don't have to like eat that as your main source of energy for 2 or 3 days straight and then come home with a veggie tray. So I just find it comical that the world we live in is such an instant gratification world and an all or nothing world. It's like we can't do one or the other. It has to be one or the other. It can't be like a mix, a slight little bit of fun. It has to be all in or not all in, right? So it's kind of funny at the end of the day, but when it comes down to it, it's all about discipline, and it's all about balance, and it's all about awareness and just, knowing. And obviously, if you have a family, if you have children, that's going to really impact things. And, well, maybe you don't need to wake up and have it for breakfast. Maybe you do it in the evening when you take your dog for a walk at the end of the night. I don't know. I'm not the best person to talk about, I'm not super famous like these people are, right? So, maybe that's how they deal with all the paparazzi and all the stress and all the attention and all the media that they get, right? I don't know. Hard to say, but I'm curious what everybody thinks about this. Is this something you struggle with? Or are you kind of limiting your amount that you're smoking? Or are you not smoking at all? You're switching to more healthier alternatives like, edibles, things like that. I mean, at the end of the day, people who smoke cigarettes, they smoke cigarettes their whole life and they can't quit. And for me, me smoking, I don't feel like I need to smoke at the end of the day. Like I wouldn't like categorize myself as addicted to MJ. It's just, it's nice to do. It's fun. And, quite often it's the best sleep aid around. Right. And it's normal. It grows in the wild. But again, if you're lighting something on fire, probably not the best thing to do long term. Right. So that's why I really like the edibles and the drinks. They make things more fun and they make it more socially acceptable and socially enjoyable. If you're having a couple of friends over or whatever and you have a Molo or whatever, an XMG, well, you kind of feel like you're part of the party, right? But the courage and the boldness, the ability to announce that you're stopping something that you made so much money off of, I mean, it's just, it doesn't really, we need more details for sure. And then, imagine if he came out with a huge head fake and saying, psych, could happen as well. But I would say, after, what is he? He's like in his 50s? How old is he now? He's 52. So, I mean, he's probably been smoking since he was like, what, 2? 52 weeks? I don't know. 52 months old? I don't know. Something like that. So, he's definitely been smoking for at least 30 years, right? And, I myself, I'm mid-30s, and I've been smoking for well over 10 years now, maybe even 15 years. And, I mean, I need a break from time to time, so I can't imagine having it for breakfast, dinner, and lunch, and snacks, and, and lasting that long, so kudos to him for doing that. But representatives for Snoop Dogg were not immediately reached for the comment on Thursday. Snoop and MJ have been inextricably linked during a career of spanning decades. So he rose in popularity after making several guest appearances on Dr. Dre's 1992 album The Chronic. Art on the CD was emblazoned by an MJ leaf, and then when he released his debut album Doggy Style in 1993, quickly made him a household name and cemented him as a top-tier rapper. And then, you remember the movie Half Baked? That was awesome. That's so nostalgic for me. It just like kind of brings me back, like a blast from the past. It's about a group of friends who are potheads, and starring Dave Chappelle. And he actually says in the video, like in the movie, what was it, like some kind of like mad foreshadowing or something like that? Because he says like in the video, he comes up and he's like on the street, and Dave Chappelle and a couple of his buddies or whatever, they're selling it in the movie. And he comes up, and Snoop Dogg comes out of nowhere, and they like light up a joint, and this guy, comes out of nowhere. It's Snoop Dogg, and he's like, yo, what's going on? And then he's like, yeah, as soon as we light it up, they come out of the woodwork, so to speak. And he's like, oh no, lucky for you, I just quit smoking yesterday. He's like, you want a puff? And he's like, no, I just quit smoking yesterday. And then he has a puff and he smokes the whole joint. So I don't know, maybe it was sort of in his brain in 1998 that he needed to take a break, and it's just a long time coming, who knows. But it was one of my all-time favorite movies. I think I've seen that movie at least 20 times. Ebba Zebba, you're my only friend. Just a classic. So I mean, you got to kind of laugh at this. There was a Wall Street bet post. They posted puts on all MJ companies like Tilray and Sundial. Not sure why they mentioned Tilray and Sundial. They just love the Tilray and Sundial's Wall Street Bets does, but obviously the most volume traded and listed on U.S. major exchanges, and a lot of retail investors pumping it or behind it, right? So, but rightly so. I mean, Tilray and Sundial are amazing companies, and they're probably going to be here long term. But I wouldn't necessarily go all in on puts on MJ companies just because Snoop Dogg says he might be giving it up, and he doesn't say MJ, he doesn't say, you know, our favorite plant. He says smoke. So maybe he's, maybe he's going to vaporize, the volcano from Stores and Bickle, which is subsidiary now of Canopy Growth. Maybe he's going to do that, right? When you actually use a volcano, it's not actually burning it up; it's just heating it up and burning, and it's actually just like, it's not actually burning the plant matter. You're heating up the trichomes, and then you're inhaling the trichomes, and it's almost as if you're not even smoking anything. It's almost like you're just breathing in air. And a lot of people don't like the volcanoes because it doesn't give them the feeling of smoking, right? And it's not supposed to, because at the end, when you're done, you take the plant matter out of the chamber, and you can see it's brown, right? So it starts off green and like yellow and brown, like a different shade of brown if you get the hairs on there or whatever. And then at the end, it's like really dark brown, right? So you're not actually burning the plant matter. So I don't know. I don't really think it's that big of a deal. Certainly not going to be buying a bunch of puts just because, this may or may not be true. And even if it was true, like, who cares, right? I said multiple times that, I think I'm going to cut back on smoking, and I did. And, there was a period there where I didn't smoke at all or do any kind of MJ for almost a month. And, I wasn't like, oh my God, I need it, I'm craving it, I'm addicted, it's nothing like that. It's only because it's a choice. It's fun. I like to do it, and it helps me sleep. And, then I started to switch to edibles, and then the drinks came along, and it was like, oh my God, this is the best thing ever, right? Because you kind of feel, if you're at a party and, you want to take a break from alcohol even, and all your friends are having beers, well, you kind of feel left out. And then, you can buy a Molo or something like that, and you Molo out, right? But, yeah, interesting day, to say the least. They probably paid him to spread that rumor. Yeah, it certainly wouldn't happen at the peak of a bull market. They'd be saying, he's created his own strain or something like that. And then, as we were looking to get a potential Schedule 3 recommendation approval from the DEA, he comes out. Who knows? Maybe, yeah. You have to wonder. Definitely have to wonder. Maybe you'll start vaping dry herbs, way healthier than burning buds. Yeah, that's kind of what I meant. What I mentioned as well, Hayes. So yeah, great point. We're kind of on the same wavelength there. I've been fighting quitting vaping nicotine for as long as I can remember. It isn't that easy. Yeah. I stopped vaping altogether. I had a ex-girlfriend back in the day that worked at a vape shop, and those like actual like vegetable glycerin or whatever, nicotine in it. And those things are terrible, right? I wasn't even a smoker, and it's like super easy to get addicted to nicotine that way. And you get all these flavors that taste like gummy bears and apple pie. Just nothing about that sounds like it's a good idea, right? So yeah, definitely feel you on that, Jamlosi. But yeah, just keep at it. I'm sure you can get over the hump. But yeah, everybody's different, and yeah, you got to get off that, man, for sure, or at least limit it. And you get way more out of your buds, so much more efficient. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, exactly. Like I said, check out the volcano. They're super expensive though. It's like last time I bought one, it was like $700 or something like that. Mighty Vaporizer helped me to quit smoking weed mixed with tobacco. The tobacco was the worst part of the addiction. Then the vaping buds opened a whole new world. Yeah, and you can even get those like handheld vapes as well. Give me a second, folks. Not sure what's going on outside my office here, but my girlfriend's pregnant, and I just want to check on her, make sure everything's okay. Just give me 1 second. Sorry about that, folks. All good. You never know what to expect when you're expecting. So, better safe than sorry. His tolerance was way too high. It had to step down a bit. Yeah, I mean, you get immune to it, right? And you gotta take a little break. But yeah, that was something somebody mentioned on here as well. It was like, oh, he's gonna be like consuming like 2,000 milligrams a day or something about edibles. BZAM seems to be packing some Viola products. Imagine if they teamed up. Yeah, anything's possible. There's definitely going to be more consolidation in the space. He'll be doing edibles, Swan says. Yeah, I agree. And like you can get like MJ infused wines now, and spirits, which Tilray has said that they're looking to get into in a big way. Right? They've got all these Sweetwater Brewing Co. and all this stuff. The beer brands, the craft beer. They've got their spirits. The resin from the Mighty can be collected, and after a while you can make butter or olive oil with it, and it's so good. Yep, absolutely. Tons of different formats now. Edible MJ Corona. Yeah, imagine. Well, we got the... Oh, man, if you guys haven't tried the Molos, the new Molos with the CBG in it, and 10 mils, so good. All right, Incredibles. The timing of this announcement is kind of fishy to me. I agree. Yeah, definitely seems like a hit piece for mainstream media, and I was a little surprised actually when I saw Wall Street Bets put puts on all MJ companies like Tilray and Sunday. I think they were mostly joking. Stores and Bickle, very good. True, the best vaporizers. Hints the Mighty is better version. Hints the Mighty is a better version of the Volcano. The Plenty, also very good. Okay, I'll have to check that out. I haven't experienced it, but thanks for letting me know. I got a question about VFF. If you have time to answer it, if not, no worries. Yeah, go ahead. I do want to start wrapping it up, but if it's something quickly, I can certainly try to get through it as quick as I can. Hi Rod, any thoughts about an article from MJ Biz Daily today? SEC raising red flag on Cannabis plan to enter the U.S. market. Yeah, I did see that. Probably do a video on it at some point, but right now it's kind of just a sit and wait. Basically they're saying they need more information, and it has to do a lot with the NASDAQ compliance as well. So, at the end of the day, you're talking about the Corona maker, you're talking about Canopy, one of the biggest players in the space, and there's a lot of capital behind it, and big players behind it. So hard to say what'll happen there. I don't think at the end of the day they're not reliant on the US and Canopy USA. It'd be nice to have, and they're going through a different structure, and if they somehow are able to pull it off, well, that's going to pave the way for a lot of other companies to do the same, right? So, to be determined, I guess. I'll keep an eye on it, and if anything happens, if anything develops, I'll keep everybody posted. But essentially, it's just it's on pause right now, is from what I gathered. I'm at my third Mighty in 3 years, have a Plenty, and will never change the brand. They're so good, Stores and Bickle. Yeah, I agree. It was a great acquisition, I think, by Canopy. It was definitely one of my favorite companies before I even really started to get into the MJ investing space, and before Canopy ever owned them. Wasn't Snoop collaborating along with Martha Stewart and CGC? No, I think that was Drake. Not sure if Snoop was in on it as well. Maybe. But I know Drake definitely was, and Martha Stewart definitely. She's like a CBD brand. BFF popped 16% Tuesday while other MJ companies were down. I couldn't find any news. Was it technical? Yeah, I had a feeling you were going to ask that. Yeah, it was. We had like barely any daily resistance. on it, and there was an upgrade. I was talking to somebody about that. See if I can find it real quickly here. Yeah. Yeah, it was definitely technical. We had like barely any resistance, but as you can see, this stupid pop-up. VFF stock keeps buy at Beacon after best quarter in 2 years, and that was November 14th. So I think that coincides with that time frame. But yeah, it was mostly technical. They had barely any resistance on the daily or anything, and I think it was that Beacon best quarter in 2 years, more than likely. Hopefully that helps. Tilray can go bankrupt. Anything can go bankrupt. But would Tilray? I doubt it. Start by learning how to write Tilray. Yeah, it's a good start. How much longer until the bull run? I'm thinking it's probably we still have the tax loss harvesting going on until December 27th, I think it is, because stocks take about 3 days to settle through the DTCC and like the clearinghouses and whatnot. So they're looking to use blockchain to make that like happen in seconds, which the SEC has already approved unanimously. And another reason why blockchain is going to be the future, because eventually we'll be able to trade stocks 24/7, 365, just like we can crypto, and everything will settle in seconds instead of days, right? But yeah, the bull run, I think, could be hindered by the tax loss selling into the end of the year. But into 2024, the Cannabis Co. CEO, I think it was, Zach George, CEO of Sundial, tons of CEOs are very bullish on the prospect of rescheduling to Schedule 3 in 2024. So it's looking good. I think 2024 is going to be a massive year. I'm looking at a couple months, though. I think leading into spring is where we're more than likely going to kick it into high gear, no pun intended. But any thoughts on Canopy? Where can the stock be headed in the next few weeks? Any thoughts? Well, again, kind of more over on that. Just be patient. It's we're looking for monthly uptrends to confirm, and like I said, tax loss selling into the end of the year here. The S&P 500 broader market likely due for some weekly consolidation, but less than 4% away from all-time highs on SPY, the S&P 500. So it could definitely play catch-up, but like I said, I think there's a good chance that we get a response from the DEA before year end, and then at some point in 2024 we'll get actual rescheduling. That's my thoughts and opinions. Any update on Tilray can go bankrupt? No, definitely not expecting that anytime soon, Mick. I'm not even putting that word in my vocabulary when it comes to Tilray right now. They just acquired a bunch of brands, like 8 beer and beverage brands from Anheuser-Busch, the maker of Budweiser. They just acquired Hexo and Redecan. Like they wouldn't be doing all these acquisitions if they thought they were going to go bankrupt. They'd be saving the money, right? Wouldn't make any sense. Thank you, sir. I spent 2 hours trying to find an answer. Yeah, no worries. And like you need to expect that too when things are down 90+% from all-time high or February 2021 highs. If a stock pops 15%, 20%, even 100%, it shouldn't really even be that big of a deal because we're down over 99% on a lot of names from all-time highs. So now's the time where you start to see moves out of nowhere for no reason. If it does happen, then, but I think there was a little bit of a reason there, but I think it was mostly technical. Will the election affect any of this? I think it's going to be a big focal point coming into the election, but I think it'll be the next election that's really drives it home and puts MJ in the spotlight. But safe banking thoughts, if it will pass this year. Thanks, appreciate your responses. Yeah, you bet, no problem. Hard to say. I don't think it'll pass this year, no. We might not even need safe banking, right? Because individual states are starting to circumvent 280E, we're starting to see individual states kind of draft their own laws, and then, if we get rescheduling, you know, and you know, it depends what happens with the House as well. We might not even need safe banking. Rescheduling is the biggest thing for this industry right now. Well, descheduling would be the best, but then I was looking into it, and apparently there's treaties and things like that that would have to be amended to allow descheduling. So I think the most likelihood is we get rescheduling as the first step, and then reschedule to Schedule 3, and then we get descheduling and treated like alcohol, right? Any thoughts on SEC raises red flag over parts of Cannabis? Yeah, someone actually mentioned that earlier on, so I gave my thoughts. It's basically just on pause right now. They're still trying to iron out some of the kinks. But I'll probably do a video on that in the not too distant future. Crazy. Nobody is talking about safer banking anymore. Yeah, I don't think, again, it's all about rescheduling, right? Rescheduling is where it's at. I saw somebody comment on one of my videos that rescheduling isn't even a big deal. I'm like, what? Like, that could not be further from the truth. It's literally the biggest deal. Like, I would argue maybe even bigger than MJ legalization in Canada happening, you know? This is literally the US, the biggest market in the world, the biggest economy in the world. And if they reschedule, like, the writing's on the wall. Like, we're already getting movement from, you know, from the Dems and from this administration. And it's just going to, it's tip of the iceberg, right? It's just going to continue to come in. Thanks for all you do. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks for joining the stream, everybody. All right, going to wrap it up. Been a weird day for sure. But again, it can be taken many different ways with regards to Snoop and what he's looking to do. I mean, the dude's 52 years old. He's more than likely due for, you know, a break, and his lungs will probably thank him. But yeah, switching to edibles probably going to be in his future, I would say. Maybe that's the reason safe banking takes a cool down a bit as reschedule will happen soon. I agree. Yeah, I think so. It's like, why waste all the resources and time and energy in Congress when you know that rescheduling is probably going to happen, and that's the biggest thing, and it's likely going to reshape the industry. So thank you, Rod. Have a good one, man. You too. Like and subscribe to this man. He deserves a thank you very much. I appreciate it. Really do appreciate all the support. Love each and every one of you who supported me along the way. It's been a journey and a half, and we're not even through the first inning yet. So how big do you think the gains will be if they deschedule? Oh, man. If it descheduled, you know, we'd be like all-time high territories for a lot of our names, right? Rescheduling should easily see, you know, a few 100% gains. Maybe 3 to 5x, and then, yeah, descheduling, full-blown legalization, like, you know, 10 to 20x from here on some of our names, right? Thank you, sir. You bet. My pleasure. All right. I hope you have a great night, everybody. We have quite a few people that joined late, but if you can go back in the stream, I was going to just do a dedicated video to this and upload it after, and then I was like, well, probably not going to be able to make a video very long on this, and was curious what all the community and what everybody had to say about this and what everybody's thoughts were, because like I said, I kind of struggle with it myself and battled with it myself, where, you know, you want to limit the amount that you're smoking. It's not just that, right? It's like anything, you know, junk food or candy or alcohol, right? While it's all fun and games and it's enjoyable, anything can be abused, right? So I think it's just a testament to how we need to be balanced and disciplined, and, you know, look after number one, make sure we're healthy, and if you're not feeling good, change it, right? And yeah, there's tons of pros and cons to anything, right? Just like MJ's no different. There's going to be pros and cons. So we appreciate the live stream. You bet. Appreciate everybody joining us. All right. Have a great night, and we'll see you again on the next video. It's Rod with Pow Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. And yeah, we'll see if we get an update from Snoop. See if he gives a little bit more color onto what exactly he means, if he's going to be doing 2,000 milligrams instead worth of edibles on a daily basis. All right. Have a great night. We'll see you again on the next video.